What's up everyone? Ivan from Darkglass here, and today we'll take a look at the Kaamos, the signature pedal of Amos Heller. The Kaamos is packed with a lot of great features, and also quite a few connectivity options. Tone-wise, we can go from a very mild and warm overdriven tone to a big and punchy synth-like bass tone, all in a single pedal. We have a distortion section that's based on the alpha and omega distortion pedal, and also a separate octave section that offers 3 different octave modes, each with a different sound and character. Now let's explore all the features of the pedal. Let's start by taking a look at the connection options on top of the pedal. First, we have the instrument input. Then, the 9-volt power supply socket. Next to it, we have the sub-out, which allows us to separate and only send the sub-octave signal from that output. All the way to the right, we have the standard output, which carries the distorted signal, the clean signal, and the sub-octave signal, depending on how we configure the pedal. On the right side of the pedal, we have the effects loop, a send output, and a return input. On the other side of the pedal, we have a balanced XLR output and a ground lift switch. For the controls of the pedal, we have 2 switches, one for distortion and one for the octave. For the distortion section, we have a blend control to balance between the clean, dry signal and the distorted signal. Next to it, we have the tone control, which adjusts the high frequencies of the drive. The more we turn it counterclockwise, the darker the signal is going to be, and the more we turn it clockwise, the brighter the signal will be. Below, we have the drive control to control how much distortion we apply to our signal. The drive mod lets us blend and pick between 2 different distortion types, the alpha and omega distortion circuits. And finally, the drive level lets us control the volume of the distorted signal. For the octave, we have 3 different controls. First, we have the octave filter. If we turn it counterclockwise, we're going to close the filter and the sound is going to be darker. If we turn it clockwise, we're going to open the filter and then we're going to hear more character out of the different octaves. Then we have the octave level, which controls the volume of the sub-octave. And right below that, we have the clean level, which controls the volume of the clean signal that's tied to the octave circuit. Additionally, we also have press controls on some of the knobs. The first one controls the loop, and it is in the top left corner of the pedal. In the first position, when the left LED is lighting up, the loop is placed after the octave. In the middle position, the loop is placed after the distortion, and in the third position, all the way to the right, the loop is placed in parallel with our signal chain. In the first position, the loop is only active when the octave is also active. In the second position, the loop is only active when the distortion is active, and in the third position, the loop will be active when either or both the distortion and octave are active. Next to the loop, when we press the tone control, we can pick between wet and DI for the XLR output. When set to wet, the distortion and octave will come out of the XLR output. If we want a completely clean and unaffected signal, we have to set it to DI. When we press the octave filter, we can pick between 3 different types of octave. The first one is the sublime, and it is a monophonic mute type octave. If we press it again, we access the sub-lemon, which is a monophonic flip type octave. And if we press it one more time, we have the sub-C3, which is a polyphonic octave. All of them have a different character and sound different, so it is best to experiment to find which one suits your needs. The last press control on the right is the series and parallel switch. In series mode, we're feeding the octave into the drive, which creates a really big and powerful sound. However, it may lack some definition since we're feeding more signal coming from the octave into the drive, creating a more distorted sound. If we want to have more definition and clarity, a great way to achieve this is to use the parallel setting. In this mode, the sub-octave and the distortion flow independently of each other, which will allow you to retain the full and punchy low end of the octave and also all the definition and clarity of the distortion, since they are not affecting each other. Now I'm going to show you how all of those knobs and controls and features sound like. Right now I'm plugging into input and I'm taking the signal out from the XLR. We're going to look into the loop a bit later. First, I'm going to cover the basic functions and features of the Kaamos. Right now, as you can see, the distortion and the octave are bypassed, so I only have the clean signal of my bass. Now, if I turn on the distortion, we engage the drive circuit. And the cool thing here is that when we have the distortion circuit with the blend, the drive level, and the drive amount at 12 o'clock, we have the same volume as when we're using the clean signal. Of course, you're gonna pick up more of the mid-range because we're distorting the signal, but the overall character and level remains pretty constant, which is a great feature to have. Now let's engage the octave, and we are in the first octave type. Going to the second octave type. And finally, the third one. Now I'm going to make it more obvious by lowering the clean signal all the way off and increasing the octave level a bit. And I'm going to go back to the first octave type. The second one. As you can hear, this one sounds more like a synthesizer, more retro than the first one. And the third one. And this is without even touching the octave filter. So let's increase this and test the first one. Back to 12 o'clock. The second octave type. And the third one. So you can get a variety of different sounds just by changing the octave type and where you have your filter at. Now I've set everything back again to 12 o'clock position, and we're going to experiment a bit with the drive. So I'm going to engage it. As I mentioned, right now everything is at 12 o'clock. If I turn the blend counterclockwise, I'm only going to have clean signal. And the more I turn it clockwise, the more drive I'm going to add to the mix. Now next to the blend, we have the tone, and to make it a bit more obvious, I'm going to use a pick to bring more of that upper mid-range. Right now I've closed it all the way off. So this is also acting as a, if you want to take it this way, an EQ, because we're allowing more upper frequencies to come through. So even though we don't have a treble control or a mid-range boost, we can use this to tailor our sound to fit our needs. Below, we have the drive amount, and this controls how much saturation, how much gain we add to the distortion circuit. All the way off, we only have cleans, and the more we turn it clockwise, the more distortion we're going to add. As you could hear before, at the 12 o'clock position, we have a very nice unity gain level. Really cool. Next to the drive, we have the drive mod, and this changes between the alpha and omega distortion circuits. Let's go all the way to alpha and engage the drive. I'm going to increase the blend to make it more obvious for you. I'm going to go all the way to omega. This one is a bit more fuzzy. And of course, we can go to in-between settings. So let's go like this. As you could hear, alpha sounds a bit more scooped and omega sounds a lot dirtier, more aggressive. Also, it has much more mid-range content. And the cool thing is that you can blend between both to find what works for you. The last knob is the drive level, and this controls the volume of the distortion. This gives us a lot of flexibility in terms of sound creation because we can individually adjust the octave level, the clean level, the drive, and the drive blend. And this is without even combining both parts of the pedal. So let's do that right now. I'm going to change to the third type. And the first one, let's see. And now I'm going to put it in parallel. As you could hear, it's a very different character when you have the octave feeding into the drive instead of going in parallel. Now, that doesn't mean that one is better than the other. You can achieve very different results, and it depends on what you want to get out of the pedal. Just to demonstrate how drastic the changes are, even when setting in series to parallel, I'm going to engage it one more time. And back to series. Now let's explore some of the loop options that we have available. For this, I have placed a chorus pedal in the effects loop of the Kaamos, and we're in loop position 1, which places the loop after the octave. So right now, because the distortion and the octave are disengaged, I'm only going to hear my clean tone. If I engage the drive, I won't hear the chorus because it's only active once the octave is active. So I'm going to bypass the distortion, engage the octave, and now I hear the chorus effect being applied to the octave. If I would like to have the chorus or the effects loop in my distorted signal, I will need to swap to loop position 2. I'm going to bypass the octave and engage the drive. And now my distortion has the chorus that I have placed in the effects loop. I'm going to engage the octave as well. I can have a really powerful sound that retains the definition because the loop is only applied to the distortion and the octave remains clean. Last but not least, we have the effects loop position 3, which places the loop together with your clean signal in parallel to the drive and to the octave. And it also activates when you engage either the drive or the octave. So right now, both of them are disengaged, so I'm not going to hear anything. If I engage the drive, I'm going to hear the chorus that's in the effect loop. Or if I engage the octave, I'm also going to hear the effect. Another neat feature is the wet and DI button. Here in wet mode, I'm going to hear the effects coming out of the XLR out. If I toggle this on or switch to the DI mode, I'm only going to hear the clean signal. This is useful if, for example, you want to separate the octave coming out of the sub out, the distortion coming out of the 1/4 inch output, and you also want to retain a clean, completely dry signal that you can send to a monitor, a recording interface, or to front of house. This way, you can have 3 completely independent signals that you can mix and match to suit your needs. For more information on the Kaamos, please visit darkglass.com or click the link in the description below. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.